Good morning, and it's Friday the 10th of May, and we're going to run through the usual. We have a mixture of astrology tuition, so you can learn a little few bits. We've got cosmic insights into the cosmos, and as usual, a small daily reading of the energy in astrology. So I want to kick off actually with the sun because it's very, very active at the moment. And it's creating quite a few, well, I'll say newspaper headlines. I suppose they would be science newspaper headlines, but it is getting very involved with X-class flares and coronal mass ejections, and so it's all singing, all dancing, and all very excited at the moment. And there is one thing, I was just reading spaceweather.com, and that's the place to go to, spaceweather.com. They do a really good report and a really good assessment of the sun's weather as it moves amongst the solar system around the planets on a daily basis. It's brilliant. And actually, I love the way that the editors are often get very close to spiritual jargon. Now, you're actually listening to me because you believe that the cosmos or the solar system, the universe, has an intelligent spiritual content. That's why you're listening. There is a spiritual dimension to the earthy, practical, real, if this is real, which of course it isn't, universe that the solid universe, the corporeal universe. But I love the fact that the guy who writes the spaceweather.com often veers off a little bit towards the spiritual. And I love what he's written here. Actually, I must read it to you. He's talking about the cosmic rays. Just some background here. Cosmic rays come from outer space. They come from beyond the solar system, out there in the galaxy. Our sun has a protective bubble around it called a heliosphere. It creates its own atmosphere, and all the planets around the sun are tucked into this atmosphere and protected from cosmic rays. So the sun's rays repels cosmic rays, okay? So you've got like the yang coming in and the defender of the sun, if you like, right? A yang-yin situation? Well, I think so, definitely. Now, listen to this guy, and I'm reading this from today's spaceweather.com. Cycle 25 is intensifying, and this is reflected in the number of cosmic rays entering Earth's atmosphere. Neutron counts from the University of, I can't read that, Geophysical Observatory show that cosmic rays reaching Earth are slowly declining. A result of, and he says, I quote, the yin-yang relationship between the solar cycle and cosmic rays. So the yin-yang between solar sun, the sun cycle, and cosmic rays. And I thought, well, there we go. That's very good. Well done. So I thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, so we'll talk more about actually cosmic rays and the protection of the sun at another time. I think this is why some people saw the sun as God over history. But anyway, right, now let's get to a couple of and here's another thing I've got for you. That was my dogs welcoming the postman. So bedlam. I hope it didn't interrupt you too much. Anyway, what I was going to say was a lot of people don't know is that astrology can be done from any point around the solar system. So I can go and stand on Jupiter and I can do astrology. And I can go and stand on the sun and do astrology. And there are astrologers who believe in heliocentered, sun-centered astrology rather than Earth-centered astrology. Now, they are few and far between. I personally think that Earth-centered astrology is going to work if that's where we are. And so that's the astrology I do. But I want to show you the chart for heliocentric astrology. That is if we were stood on the sun today, what would the astrology chart look like? Because if the sun is having a little paddy, as it is, a little extreme moment, exploding all over the place, then what is it in the planets that is talking about this? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share, and I'm going to go to a window where I've got the heliocentric, so the sun-centered astrology chart, and the geocentric, so earth-centered astrology chart. And what I want to do, well, first of all, look at the difference. So that's be interesting. On the sun-centered one, we've got showing the Earth. So this is the Earth, if it we're stood on the sun. Now, what I just want to show you here is the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus. So Uranus at 23 of Taurus and Jupiter at 27 of Taurus. And the Earth, as far as standing on the sun is concerned, is on the other side at 20 degrees of Scorpio, pretty close, 7 degrees away from Athena, Pallas Athena, at 27 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, I'm kind of interested in that actually, because I see that what is being picked up here is the activity between the activity shown by the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction and the opposition to Athena and the Earth. Now, if I come over to the Earth-centered one, the geocentric one, and so we're here in the middle somewhere. This is the horizon. And what we're seeing is, from our perspective, is the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction with the sun approaching it. Okay, so all that's happened actually is the Earth is over here when we stand on the sun. When we stand on the Earth, the sun is here. See, we can't show the Earth on here because we're standing on it, right? Okay, so as far as I can see, this is pretty much what the astrology looks like when the sun is having this real exciting time. And what do these planets represent? Well, that's exactly what they represent. Uproot, uproar, break through, break down, that very exciting, electrifying, buzzing, huge energy of Uranus. And Jupiter, of course, largest planet in the solar system, but more than that, expansive, broad-minded, and really exciting, as in broaden your horizons. Let's poof, blow everything up. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you that because I thought it's just interesting, really. There we go. Right, I have stopped sharing on that now. And I now want to look, oh yes, what I want to do now is I want to look at some astrology. And so the astrology of the day is going to be, I'm just going to find a geocentric chart because I'm not going to start reading a heliocentric chart. That would throw me. There we go. Let's get this up. And there we are. Right. I will share this with you again in a moment. There are a couple of things of interest to look at in terms of the daily astrology reading here, and so we'll get on with that. So let's go to a share again, and we're looking at that one this time. There we go. Okay, so for those of you who haven't been watching this series so far, and I'm not going to keep saying this, So go back over and read all the previous videos. There's always 5 videos a week, Monday to Friday. I can't work weekends. But this is how to read a chart. That is the horizon. And this is everything in the sky above our heads right now. This is if you're in the UK. When you're in another part of the world, it will be a different view, but you've still got the same planets. And this is on the other side of planet Earth. So this is on the night side and this is on the day side. Here we have the sun, a symbol that is recognizable across the millennia. And here we have the moon, another instantly recognizable symbol. Okay, so as I opened the chart this morning, one of the things that stuck out to me was there's an emphasis here in these lines, and the fulcrum, if you like, or the point at which they're all converging is a planet here, which is a dwarf planet called Ceres. Ceres was a Roman god, and she was brought into high profile when the Romans were all starving because of drought. And so Ceres was brought in to do something about improving the agricultural situation and bringing more rain, which apparently she did. Ceres is very much implicated in the parent-child bond because of her overriding association with growing things into what they must become. So she rules the growth cycle of cereals and crops and vegetation in the same way that she does the human reproduction. So she takes things from a seed, human seed maybe, and seedling, so baby, and then a maiden, and obviously a bigger seedling, now a strong plant, and into the decaying part of the cycle, so the old crone and the withering and the harvesting, and then the seeds going back into the underground silos. And so we have that same cycle in human procreation as we have in vegetation, or crops at least. So that content was actually the content of the Eleusinian mysteries of Greece, the mysteries that were explained to people, the adepts and the students that went to learn. The mystery was about that cycle and how important it was to our lives and our universe. Right. So having explained that, I'm looking at the fact that Chiron, now we're back to Chiron again. Chiron's quite active at the moment. So Chiron is our ability to cope with wounds. So Chiron says there are wounds, and we can be as clever as we like and as spiritual as we like and a great healer, but we are still going to get our own wounds. We'll all have wounds, and our own individual wounds are something that we should understand so that we can heal ourselves, but also get the wisdom of coping and learning how to rise above or work through the things that hurt us. Okay. So, if Chiron is in a square, now you remember that we talked about a square before, and what I said about the square was it is a pebble in your shoe, a thorn in your side. It backs you into a corner and forces you to take an action you didn't want to take. It is an irritant. So we've got a Chiron Ceres square. So we could read this in some of the ways that I've just mentioned. Let's take Chiron as a significator or a symbol of the parent-child bond, in which case we're saying there will be a difficult moment between parents and children today. Okay. Yesterday or tomorrow, really. It's kind of like a 3-day thing. We could take it a different way and talk about, well, let's take it literally, right? And say Ceres is in charge of growing stuff in the garden, right? So we could say that there is a difficult moment for gardeners when they see that their tender shoots, right, have been well, they've not been watered, and so they are withering because they didn't get watered. Now that's something quite sort of simplistic, what I've just said, but the other way we can take it is something which more complex, more depth to it. And it can be that it is a day when we examine our wounds in the light of a realization of something to do with our childhood, or something our children say, or something our parents say. So it's a moment of reflection, discord, difficulty around how we cope with our wounds, how parents and children contribute to that. And it's a moment really of being able to grow up and grow out of it and recognize that it's not essential to continue to follow the guidance of a parent if you have been born with your own astrology horoscope and would prefer to do it your way. And it's just the way you handle that and how you feel about it. I also want to look at the fact that Ceres is in a trine. We've done a trine, so that's a harmonious aspect, which facilitates. So Ceres is in trine to Jupiter, Uranus, and the Sun. Okay. This is an interesting one. If I take Ceres as representative of the feminine, the cycle of the feminine. Now, I could actually do the same when I'm looking at it in respect of Chiron, actually. We could say the feminine and the wounds of the feminine, which are inflicted by the power of the masculine. So yin yang, the power of yang masculine is in conflict with the feminine and its control over birth, child, growth, maiden, etc. The cycle of life. So I could put that there as well. But anyway, going back to the Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter. So there is a harmonious aspect here. So what we're saying is that all this excitement and this exhilaration, which is in Taurus and is an earth sign, has some sympathy or appreciation with Ceres, the cycle of life, the parent-child bond. And so we've got a little bit of sort of Chiron in there, a little bit of ouch or humiliation. And then we've got a lot of support as well for the forward-looking masculine energy, the yang energy, Uranus and Jupiter, and the Sun. So all masculine planets, all forward-looking, all go out and go for it. And Ceres saying, I have the strength to cope with your actions. I can be the container that clears up, or the mother that clears up after the party, that kind of thing. There is an alignment going on with all this Sun stuff. I think that's what I'm coming at the end of it. That's what I'm coming to. Ceres seems to be holding her own in Capricorn, so protecting the earth, protecting matter, protecting mountains and all the solid stuff, and seems to be holding her own when it comes to the excitement of the Sun and the planets Uranus and Jupiter. So I don't look at this Sun stuff and think, oh my goodness, I better start writing my will or something. I look at it and think, yeah, but you know what? She's got our backs. Ceres has got our backs. And I suppose I'm talking about the feminine then, the yin feminine. She's got it all in hand, don't you worry. So that's the way I'm seeing it. And so there you go. I hope that's useful. Right. I think that's all for today. There won't be another video now until Monday because I have to take weekends off because of family commitments. But I shall miss you, and I hope to see you again on Monday when it's bound to be a long one because I'll have all this stuff to talk about. Have a great weekend. We've got a heat wave here in the UK, so I'm enjoying my 2 greenhouses this year, 2 glass greenhouses, and growing all the stuff. I love it. So I shall be out there doing that, and of course keeping a close eye on the astrology. I'm here if you want a reading, no problem. And don't forget my new book, The Easy Way to Learn Astrology, which you can find on the Inner Traditions website or Google, not Google, we're not talking about Amazon, if you want to buy it. Or you can buy a copy from me in the UK, and I will send you a signed copy. If you do, you can see that on my website. Okay, thank you very much and see you next week. Bye.